Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Overs 30s Gaming. As you guys can tell, I'm here to talk to you about Once Human. So I was selected to do the beta testing for the cross-platform. I was using my wife's iPhone because it did not work on my Pixel 5. So just know that, at least from what I can tell, and she had the iPhone, I think it is 11th, I could be wrong, and that was like one of the last models they said to try to use. I did use it, I did try it on iPad. That was, shoots and bounds beyond what I thought it was actually going to be. It was fantastic. The only thing I haven't been able to try is on an Android tablet. However, I will go over with some pictures I took while I was playing on my wife's iPhone, so we can review those pictures. So I'll go ahead and pull those up now. So as you guys can see, this was the login screen. Surprisingly, I was shocked about how clear it was. So, the actual video quality on the iPhone was fantastic. And as you can see here, it looks a little bit different. You just press enter game. My server was already listed, which was nice. So, and I just hit it with the thumb and it logged me in. Alright. See if I can. There we go. Now, here's the picture. I went into the shop and I thought I would get a good shop video screenshot of how it looked. This is what the shop looked like. I have to say, there's not really a difference, which I was actually quite surprised about, between the shop in-game and the shop via mobile. They did a really good job at making sure the cross-platform was still visually the same, especially when it came to, I guess you could say, cleanness of the pixels. Because usually when you go to a mobile version of a game compared to a computer, it's not as crisp. And I still have to say the images are really crisp. Next, we'll go to the next photo. So this was inside. This is where you actually get a look at the UI. The reason why I have the Radiant one on there, I had just rolled that and I was looking at it. That was from the payback from actually doing the Matsuko Marks turn-in, and I happened to get a 5/5 out of it with Growing Pains, which I wish it would have been a Berserkosaurus. But hey, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, right? Yeah, that's what my son's school teacher tells him. So anyways, let's get back to it. So the UI, of course, everything's touchscreen. So literally you can just come here, as you see where my mouse is, you can touch it with your finger and it will automatically go there. It does blow up the deviations so you can see them really easily. And everything is literally just a click with the finger, which is nice. Now, the one thing that was really nice is on the computer you have to hit G to see the traits. But on the mobile version, you literally tap it with your finger and it automatically pulls up the traits, which I gotta say was actually really nice. I actually wish, how this is on the mobile version, they would bring this to the actual game. Instead of having to hit G, if I'm just going around, if I could just click on it or something. I mean, I don't mind the G button, but I think it's really cool so that way, I don't know, it just seemed more streamlined. I don't really know how to explain it, but I liked just being able to tax the actual trait and it tell me exactly what it is. And then, of course, everything else, as you can see, is they do change the layout. And of course, the hot bar, which you will see later on, is different as well, which that part I actually wasn't really happy about. So repair the gear, not much of a change, just a little, just a little bit of, looks a little bit differently. Instead of at the top, it's at the sides, and everything is still there, and you can still select it all, and then you can still repair every single item at once, which was really nice. So here's a picture from actually in the game. Yeah, not as clear as the computer, of course, but that's what's to be expected. I mean, you're comparing a GPU to a phone's GPU. They're not going to match up, no matter what you do. But for being on the go, I have to say the graphics I was actually pleasantly surprised about. I was actually quite surprised that this is as good, and the lag didn't really get me that much either. So let's talk about what's on the screen here. So you got a left shoot button that you can hit with your finger. You got a right shoot button that you can hit with your finger, or how some people hold with the thumbs. And now with the thumbs too, you got crouch, roll, and then jump. Now you have to tap those to actually do it. And then, you got this tap where you actually tap to zoom in. Now, they have a auto fire option, which is really nice. So after you are basically pointed on a hostile for, I can't remember the actual seconds, I think it was like 1 second or something like that, your weapon will automatically fire, which I thought was kind of good, especially with mobile. You need that kind of stuff with the mobile because of hitting all the buttons. As you can see, there's already a lot on the UI to be able to look at and see. And hence the reason down here, the action bars, you actually have to choose what you're going to view on your action, and that is your quick click. So if you just tap it with the finger, I would use an activator. I just tap the finger over the water, I would drink the water. So yeah, the action bars, I wouldn't really say were really nice. But also too, which I was really happy about over here, it actually shows you your current battery of your phone along with your ping and your, I guess you could say your data strength, or I don't know what to say on that one, but yeah, your data strength. The one thing I do got to say though is if you close out of the actual app, which did suck now, you have to reload the whole entire game. That was the part I really didn't like. I accidentally locked my screen a couple of times, and when I locked my screen, I had to go through the whole login process again, which I didn't really like. Up here, this is one thing that a lot of people aren't going to see. So the normal game already comes downloaded with Manibus once you finish the download installer. However, I had to wait again. I can't remember how many megabytes it was, but to install actually Way of Winter, because I'm playing on a Way of Winter server. And then when you click on this button, you can go in. I'm downloading 2 right now. You have to download each individual silo and boss, and they all have different data requirements. So I think one of the silos was like 130 megabytes. I think a boss was 80. So they all have different storage values for each individual silo and boss fight. Let's see here. Anything else good on this? I don't know. So let's go to the next one. All right. So on here's another picture. I wanted to try to see what kind of pictures would be good for you guys to actually look at. The reason why I took this photo is because so that way you can see how the face looks and how the character looks off at a distance. It does look a little pixelated, but I think for what we're trying to accomplish here on a mobile version, I have to say for a mobile version game, this is actually really good. So when you go up to items, you can see it still does like the computer does when you go to collect items. It still ticks off on the left-hand side to see what you're actually getting. However, when you go to an item, it highlights it automatically, and then literally if I tap copper core, my character will then auto do whatever process it needs to get that item, which was also very nice as well. So it did go easy. I just run up to it, I tap that copper, and go ahead and drill in some copper. Now, this is the one thing one of my hive mates asked for me to show water. Water is a big deal in Once Human. I gotta say, when it comes to water, I guess this is what we can expect of mobile. So, it's neither here nor there. I do have to say that, the cosmetic value of the water, especially coming up on the beach, is... I had my phone set for, I think it was optimum, so that way, it was running good and it was supposed to overheat the iPhone. I didn't have it set on max, so, of course, this is probably what it looks like. But, for an iPhone 11, this isn't, I guess, too bad. Alright, so next, building. Building, of course, in Once Human, everyone wants to know. I do have to say, no matter what I ever do on any video game, using a controller to keyboard is always going to be easier building. Even in this aspect, I did not necessarily enjoy the building aspect of this game on the mobile version. It's not horrible. I have had other instances in other games that were 10 times worse than this, but, I think some refinement can be used. How that could be done, I don't know. There's a lot of building that goes on in Once Human, and so I don't necessarily know how they could make this easier when you're trying to use your finger to single touch and build items and then rotate. I just think that when it comes down to it, especially with the rotation of the actual items that you're trying to build, the computer and mouse are just going to be overall better. Because when I was trying to rotate things on the computer with the thumb slide, I just, I'm not a teenager. Of course, over 30. So, I'm not lickety split at the phone. I didn't grow up on a cell phone. So, it's not like a extension of my body. Kids nowadays could probably rock this stuff out without even, thinking twice about it. All right. Here's another thing. As you can see, I wanted to show you what it looks like when you're trying to build an item. So I do think the UI, when it comes up, is actually pretty nice, though, when you're actually trying to build the actual item. It's a lot larger. I think they could make it maybe a little bit bigger actually on the PC compared to what it is now. However, I think that what they did for this part of the mobile, I do like it, to where if you want to change the skin, it automatically brings it up on the bottom. You just tap it with a finger and it automatically changes the skin. Now, typing, sending messages. I don't know if a lot of people talk about this enough, but I don't like it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Back when I was in high school, I had a phone called the Roomer, which was a slider phone that's not vertical, but horizontal. So if I slid up the screen, there was a keyboard underneath. This game, as you can see, when you bring up the keyboard, you can't even see you can see what you're typing in the top, but you can't even see what you could be answering. Like, the only thing you can see is what's at the top of the screen. So if your messages go below that point, you're not seeing what you're actually typing. And of course, they still got to correct this right here. The developers need to definitely make sure that when they bring stuff out, especially for the American market or English market, whatever market it is, they convert all of the Chinese into American, so we know what the hell we're pressing. Because I don't speak Mandarin, so I don't know what those two boxes mean. So yeah, I did not at all enjoy the message typing part of the mobile. All right. Commissions board. Everyone's always worried about commissions. No real change. When I first logged in on my other character, which I should have taken a screenshot, but I didn't, it literally just shows the commissions like regular. So I have to say that very easy. Finger pick and you're good to go. The map. It is what it is. You can see what it looks like. Of course, the computer map is going to be 10 times better. I don't think this is horrible for mobile. Of course, this is only half the map, which was currently open during this phase of Way of Winter. But you can two-finger zoom in. I was able to do that, or you can take your finger on the right-hand side and then click and zoom in that way. But two fingers did work, where you put your two fingers together in the middle of the screen and then like separate them, and that did do zoom. So not really that bad, but it's just I have to say the map is really big for that small little screen. All right, teleportation. As you can see, the way that the top left-hand screen looks just like an old game I used to play, World of Warcraft. I actually like this UI better when you're in a group. I think that on PC, I think that would be a great place to put the new party UI, party user interface. I think they should move it, because if I remember correctly, on the PC, it's on the bottom right-hand corner. I really don't like it because then it takes up that space. Moving it up to the upper left, I think, would be a fantastic idea. I really do look how this looks. And when you're, of course, being teleported, there's no Y or N. It just says cancel or enter, which, here nor there. Here is the biggest takeaway, which pissed off every single person in my eyes. Auto take. The phone has that on lockdown. Literally, you walk into an area, anything that lights up with a little circle, like every second, auto take loots everything within grabbing range. Perfect for the cell phone, so you're not trying to click everything, or as you know, PC people always clicking Q and F, trying to make sure they grab all of it. Literally, the phone's got that down. If there was a competition of who could loot the quickest, I feel bad for anyone who has a PC, because everyone who is going to be cross-platform on a cell phone or probably an iPad will out-loot you 10 to 1. That auto take feature is beyond game breaking. I would almost say. I mean, you literally walk into an area and you loot everything. It does take a part of the looter part out of a looter shooter, but I do have to say, when you only have two thumbs to work with and not all 64 keys or whatever you have between a keyboard and a mouse, I gotta say that was a pleasant surprise that I was so happy to have, because that would be the one thing I was worried about, is doing all the looting while on a mobile platform, and the auto take just knocks that out of the water. However, auto take does not work on boxes. Boxes, you still have to go over to, you still got to click on with your finger, and then you have to click the take all button. So yes, auto loot is awesome when it comes to just freestanding loot out in the world. So just another picture of what was currently going on. As you can see my little knees are broken. So it does show when your knees are broken, and of course the battery. I do like the fact that it still shows the battery on the screen, and that's built into the actual game itself, because that way you can tell whether if your phone is dying or not. Because if you do close out of this to check, like if you just slide up and where it makes the smaller windows on the phone, well, when you click back on it, you go back through the load-in screen and all that other kind of stuff. So it's like reloading back into the game. The picture beyond pictures. So, as you guys can see, we went back to Atari or early Nintendo days. I was playing the game when I first downloaded it on, which could have just been on me. Maybe the game hadn't been totally downloaded on my computer yet. And this is, you can actually see me in full sprint, which actually I didn't get a good picture of. You can see I have my thumb right here. It actually shows where my thumb is currently pulling right now. I'm pulling to the upper left, and it's showing that I'm currently in sprint. So just sliding your thumb up causes you to walk and then sprint, and then it actually gives you the kind of on-screen notification that you are sprinting. So I'm actually kind of glad. This is the first time I actually noticed that. I actually took this picture not in reference to that. This is where my phone actually froze. Where I was loading in, the sky was not supposed to be black. And my game just crashed. And this was the screen I was left with. It didn't auto close or anything like this. This was actually locked on my screen. I had to lock and unlock my screen to actually get it off. It was really funny because I couldn't even scroll up to try to get rid of the window. So on my wife's phone, I ended up locking and unlocking the iPhone to be able to get it to where I could close it out. And that is the last photo. So I have to say, overall, I am pleasantly surprised at the cross-platform playability with Once Human. Yes, I will always prefer playing on the computer over the phone. However, especially with the way the seasons go, which March 16th will really determine how this game is going in the future. I'm a person who actually likes the resets. That's probably not the common consensus, but it gives me something new to do every couple of weeks. However, I know a lot of people are ecstatic for the permanent servers, so we'll have to see how that happens. However, I think that when we do have scenario changes and stuff like that, having the mobile version, especially for the moving day, like I just did a video on moving day where my hive mate actually got it wrong and told me what wrong time it is, and someone already grabbed our spot. So I think for moving day purposes and server firsts, finding that perfect spot in Once Human scenario, having the mobile version would be awesome, because then it didn't matter where you are, you could go ahead and do that quick move and drop your territory so no one else can grab the area. I think that would be fantastic. But overall, I think the game, mobile version wise, would probably be best suited for random looting, farming, and stuff like that. But I think overall, in the scenarios, silos and boss fights, I did one. It was actually a little laggy inside. Sorry I didn't get a screenshot of that, but I would have to say that a lot better doing it on the PC than on mobile. Not horrible. Like overall, the mobile cross-platform is fantastic. Really went up and beyond my expectations. But I would have to say, me personally, I would prefer to do silos and boss fights on the actual PC instead of mobile. And, I think it just gives a better option. Now, I don't know how DPS is going to work, especially with auto fire on mobile. I think some people might be able to capitalize with auto fire on the mobile version compared to PC. I don't know how the DPS or how they might have to throttle that, because you don't have to actually worry about clicking. It just auto does it. But we'll have to see how that goes. And this is my honest review of the beta test for the mobile cross-platform from iPhone to PC. If you like the video, please comment if you have any questions. And I'm definitely working on my subscription numbers. I really want to hit 500. I'm currently over 100. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a fantastic day. This is Over 30s Gaming. Out.